What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, do me a real quick favor. See that red subscribe button down below? Go ahead and push that and show your support for the channel. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came to see me. So this is actually heavily requested after the original, so this is part 2, 7 unpopular flankers that I love. Stay tuned. So rolling right off into it, one that I actually haven't had a whole lot of time to wear because I definitely see this as a much warmer weather fragrance, and it's warming up, and I'm probably going to be wearing it this week. I've only worn it twice so far, but I do enjoy the way they twisted this DNA. It's from Giorgio Armani, Acqua di Gio, Absolute Instinct. A lot of people don't really like this one. I got this from my buddy Chris over at Motivated Living last fall, I believe it was. Very, very good fragrance. It's the Acqua di Gio DNA with some added seaweed and ebony wood. And I'll tell you what, that ebony wood really darkens this thing up. I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about it other than give it the meh treatment when it first came out. But I don't see it featured. I don't see it in any recommendations or any lists because not a whole lot of people really care for it, or it's been overlooked heavily because it didn't get a bunch of hype. And I gotta say, try this one. I know for a while it was in the Sephora that's kind of near where I used to work. I'm not sure if it's in any of the Sephoras currently, but get out and get a sample and try it. If you like the Acqua di Gio DNA and you want to try a little bit darker take on it that's not necessarily Profumo, because everybody wears Profumo, you might just like Absolute Instinct. Don't knock it before you try it, and that's kind of the motto for all 7 of these fragrances. First one we're talking about, Acqua di Gio, Absolute Instinct. Next, it's not that this one's hated, it's that this one gets overlooked because the performance is so terrible. It's the least popular of the fragrances that have this scent DNA and this smell to it. It's from Jimmy Choo. It's Jimmy Choo Man Ice. Put a pretty good dent in that one so far. The atomizers are just incredible on this. Love that. Oh, and that smell. It smells like Dior Homme Cologne in the opening. It's a little more musky vetiver in the dry down. It kind of does its own thing in the dry down, but in the opening and transition, you definitely think Dior Homme Cologne, Mercedes-Benz Cologne, Chanel Allure Homme Sport, Cologne Sport. You're going to think that as well. That's another really good one. That's the most expensive one to grab, but that's a really good one for sure. This one doesn't get a whole lot of love. You can get them real cheap, sub $30 range for testers, for 100 ml bottles. Yeah, the performance is awful. 3-4 hour fragrance, but the smell is great. It's very, very refreshing and invigorating. It smells awesome to me, and it's a cheap alternative if you like that Dior Homme Cologne, that ice cold lemonade scent DNA. This is some good stuff. Quality bottle designs, incredible atomizers. I know in the grand scheme of things that doesn't matter a whole lot, but if you like a good presentation, it's definitely got it. So, number 2. Unpopular flanker that I actually love, Jimmy Choo Man Ice. This next one, this absolutely gets some hate. Nobody talks about it because it does have a very harsh aldehydic opening. The aldehydes are heavy in this one. It is. But when you can get past that and the grapefruit starts to come through, it's got a very, very sporty smell to it because the name is very fitting. It's CH Men Sport. One that not everybody likes. I've put a little dent in it. I like to wear this one to play golf. When I go play golf, this is the first one that comes to mind. And I get it. If you don't like aldehydes, you're probably not going to like this one. This was popping up in the rack store last year for 20 bucks for this 50 ml. You can still get them 20 bucks all over the place online. I don't know if it's been discontinued or not. Batch code right here etched in the glass on the bottom. I love the design of the bottles. That canvas. It's glued on. It's got a stitch line, but it's glued on, you know. Color of the juice. Relatively thick base. CH, the Carolina Herrera logo on top. Clicks into place. It's very well built. And it's different. For a sport fragrance, this doesn't smell like any other summery, sporty type of fragrance that I have. It's not aquatic in any way. It does have a very strong freshness once you get into that dry down. It does. It's very woody. The grapefruit hangs around for a long time. You do smell the grapefruit in the opening. Get one more spray. But the thing that tends to turn a lot of people off is how heavy it is in aldehydes. Like I said, if you don't like aldehydes, you're probably not going to like this, which not a lot of people from what I see like heavy aldehydes. But if you can get past that opening, it's kind of got a butteriness quality in the opening. Like I smell it floating in the air. The opening doesn't really bother me. I can see why some people don't really care for this one or just flat out don't like the smell. But I actually do, and it's perfect for what I use it for. Out in the heat, gonna sweat, it's gonna get activated. It performs very well. This is a 7 to 8 hour fragrance for a summer high heat sport fragrance. You don't need a lot of sprays. The sillage is decent actually. 3 or 4 sprays, go play golf. Good for the round and then some. This is actually very good for outdoor events if you still like to spray something on yourself like I do. So another one, like I said, the theme is don't knock it before you try it, and that definitely applies to CH Men Sport. Next, from what I've gathered from the community, this is the least favorite in the line. I still love it because I love the entire line. Now we're talking about Invictus Intense. You can see I've put a little bit of a dent in there, but this is one that doesn't really get a whole lot of love. I know there are some fans of this one out there. There are some people that say this is their favorite in the line, and I understand why, because this is boozier, and this is definitely sweeter and less aquatic than the original, but it does smell very, very, very similar to the original. Like I said, it's just a boozier, sweeter take. And I absolutely love the way it smells. I do. It's the smallest bottle I have in the line. It's a 50 ml. I did get it at Marshall's, and it's one that doesn't really get a lot of talk. People say get the original or get ACQUA. Some people hate Legend. Some people love Legend. Legend could have possibly went in here, but I really enjoy this one, and I find this one gets less talk, less love than Legend does, because Legend's kind of different and unique in the line, to be completely honest with you. It doesn't smell exactly like Invictus, whereas this one smells almost exactly like the regular Invictus. Like I said, just has that whiskey note and a little bit more sweetness. But it's one that I think gets overshadowed and overlooked, and nobody really gives it a chance because of what they hear. So another one in the line that I think is great, and it's in that 7 unpopular flankers that I love. Next, this one, not real popular because it's another one that suffers from performance issues for sure, but it's a fresher take on Boss Bottled. It's Boss Bottled Tonic. You can get them cheap, just like you can with most of them. From the line, it's the apple pie vibe with some added citrus, and it's freshened up. Some are going to say watered down, but it's very heat activated, 3 to 4 hour fragrance. It's a good refresher type of fragrance. You need something to refresh real quick. You can spray it heavy as all hell. You can 15 spray this one if you want, and you're not going to make some big scent bubble. You're not going to offend anybody. This is mainly just a refreshing scent. If you love the Boss Bottled DNA and Boss Bottled's kind of your thing, you're one of those guys that's really the 1 or 2 fragrances you have, and it's kind of your go-to or your signature, if you will. This is going to be the one you want to grab and keep on hand for when you just want to refresh. It's super hot outside. You just go and run some errands real quick and you want to smell good. Boss Bottled Tonic's going to be that fragrance for you. This is a great fragrance that gets knocked because of its abysmal performance, because I'm going to be honest with you. The performance is abysmal, but the scent's great. If you like Boss Bottled, you will like this. It's just the worst performing one in the line. Usually when you see the word tonic, performance usually isn't there, and it's heat activated, and it's always a hot weather fragrance. And that's no different with Hugo Boss Bottled Tonic. You're starting to see a theme. Some of these really suffer from performance issues. That's why they're not favorites. And this has a beautiful rosemary, fresh, spicy scent to it. It's going to remind you a lot of Le Bleu d'Issy Eau Fraiche from Issey Miyake, Z from Xenia. It's going to remind you of a lot of those. This is from Abercrombie and Fitch. This is First Instinct Blue. I did do a full review on this one late summer, I believe it was. It was going around the rack stores. My son actually has a 30 ml as well. He wears it from time to time. It's soapy, it's fresh, spicy, it's green, it's a little citrusy, performs terribly. It's got some ambroxan. Even though ambroxan's not listed, this is a fragrance with some ambroxan in it. 3 or 4 hours and it's gone. Heavy sillage for about 30 minutes, And like I said, performance, it lacks. Out the shower, just another refresher. Same thing as with Boss Bottled Tonic and Jimmy Choo Man Ice. This is very good for refreshing you, just getting through your day, cooling you off, revitalizing you. You always need a scent like that in your collection to kind of get you through certain situations. There's sometimes when you don't need some mega powerhouse beast mode fragrance and you just need something to spray and go. And First Instinct Blue is very good for that. It's one that gets overlooked. It got a little hype when it was out in the rack stores because you can get this 100 ml for around 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that. And then the hype kind of died down on it real fast because people started seeing how bad the performance was. But the scent quality on this one is great. Another one, don't knock it before you try it. It's First Instinct Blue from Abercrombie and Fitch. And then last but most certainly not least, I know exactly why a lot of people don't care for this one. I get it. It's more mature. It's more masculine. It's bitter. It's got a strong bitterness from seaweed on this one. And I know not everybody really cares for a heavy bitterness in a fragrance, but it adds this, the seaweed in this really adds that marine quality that I don't get from a lot of other fragrances, and that's why I like it. It's from ARAMIS. It's Adventurer. See the dent I've started to put in that. I've worn it a few times. I did a full review on this one last summer. I like this one. Big old wide spray coming. This, for being cheap like it is, for being an ARAMIS flanker, the seaweed's very believable in this one. The saltiness from it. This gives an authentic marine ocean water smell. Sea notes is a very synthetic smell. Don't get me wrong. I love sea notes in fragrances. This actually smells like seawater to me. This smells like the Gulf of Mexico in a sense. I get that smell with my feet, you know, being knee deep in the Gulf of Mexico. Just the scent that's in the air. This reminds me of it. This is more authentic and less synthetic than you would think. And it's not going to get a lot of praise, and it's not going to get a lot of hype, and not a lot of people are going to buy it. And it's unfortunate. It may even be discontinued because I don't see it anywhere. I saw it on FragranceNet a lot last year. I don't even think it's on FragranceNet right now. It might be. But it's one you can get in that $20 range for a 3.7 ounce like this. And if you want a real experience, something that when you smell it, it's going to take you to the beach, it's ARAMIS Adventure. Please feel free to check out my full review that I did last year. Just type in TLTG ARAMIS Adventure and the video will pop up. I might link it at the end screen. But this is one that absolutely had to be on this list because I do enjoy it. And this is a vacation fragrance for me. Or anytime I need to just relax and need to be taken somewhere, this takes me to the beach. It really does. As crazy as that may sound, if you smell it, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And that's from ARAMIS. It's Adventurer. So that's my 7. Probably, I don't think you expected any of these this go around. On the first video, there are some that were expected. But these are the ones that I don't talk about a whole lot outside of Jimmy Choo Man Ice, which I still don't talk about it that much. But I do enjoy these thoroughly. And I notice they don't get a lot of love in the community. These are flankers that just do it for me, whatever the reason may be. Whether it's just a flat out scent, the olfactory memory where it takes me, like Adventurer does. I love these fragrances, and they really don't get enough spotlight in the community. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Do y'all have any of these? How do you feel about Absolute Instinct? Better yet, how do you feel about ARAMIS Adventure? I know you guys didn't see that one coming. Love all these fragrances. They smell great. They're different. They have uniqueness to them. Minus this guy right here. This smells like several other fragrances. And then Boss Bottled Tonic smells like Boss Bottled, but fresher. But I will say, if you get your hands on any of these and you give them a spray now and you just give them a chance, who knows? You might thank me later. Have a good one, guys.